record to the... Yes, thank you. Cool, cancel. There we go. Wilhelmine, come on in. So, beautiful goddesses, let's ground down into this present moment by just becoming aware of where our body is right now. As we're in this interesting space, wherever you are right now, just notice, where's my body? And where is my body connected to the earth? Notice those parts of your body that are touching something physical. Maybe it's the chair that you're sitting on, maybe it's the couch that you're lying on, maybe it's the bed that you're lying in, wherever you are right now, just notice where your body is. And let's take 3 breaths and just feel gratitude for our body, shall we? Maybe place your hands on your heart or wherever it's comfortable. And let's start by saying thank you in the language that we speak. Maybe it's a thank you, maybe it's a danke, maybe it's a grazie, whatever it is. Let's say thank you to our bodies. Thank you to our minds. Thank you to our souls. Thank you to our spirit. Thank you to all the elements that we consist of, whether we're aware of them or not. We have all these different energies inside of us. So let's start out by appreciating where we are right now. Take 1 deep breath in and out. As we ground down onto this planet, into this present moment, let's feel grateful for being here in this present moment. And let's go ahead and close our eyes. If you're not driving a car or operating machinery, then go ahead and close your eyes and then roll your eyes up as if you're looking through the crown of your head. Keep them rolled up there and then say silently inside of yourself, even if I don't know how to co-create the most magical, inspiring, and healing golden goddess circle now that connects us to our highest good and allows us to create financial freedom for ourselves and all those around us. All I do know is, it is so now, and I am fulfilled. I delete all that could stop me, and I download everything I need to do so now with grace and ease, joy. Thank you. So it is, so it shall be, or something even better. 1 more breath. Oh, and then maybe stretch up your arms. Let's take victory pose. There you go. Doesn't that look beautiful when we're all in victory pose? Let's relax the shoulders down and just imagine that we've won this amazing prize. Yes. Just say yes to yourself. And then gather all that energy in, let it flow into your heart. And let's begin by, I'm going to put myself on a spotlight. And I'm going to put our wonderful co-goddess into the spotlight. And that is my beautiful friend and sister and business partner. And I have so many titles for you. Dawn Chitwood Rivers. That's her official name. So, dear Dawn, thank you so much for being here.
I'm so excited. This is really fun. Joy and I have been working together for 10 years now. I think
even 12, I think it might be. Yeah, over a decade for sure.
Yeah. So when they first moved to Asheville, I got the privilege of meeting her and working with her. And so here we are over a decade.
And so many synchronicities happened on our way. And I feel so honored that we have been able to keep this connection and not only, work together, but also inspire each other and share, our personal journeys and really develop all of this into friendship. And I know that, often we hear that you must never mix business and friends and business and family, right? There are all these beliefs. And I feel that we're proof that yes, it can be an amazing experience, especially when it's amongst sisters. I just feel, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that it sometimes feels easier amongst us women. Do you agree?
I agree with that completely. Yeah. And I feel like, you were talking about synchronicities. I think for me, working with you and meeting you was hugely it was a big synchronicity in my own life, because I was overcoming my own battle with clinical depression after 20 years. And so a lot of that was through brain training. And so to be able to meet you guys at the time that I did in my life was a huge sign from the universe for me. So it's just been a joy and a privilege to be able to work and, you know, do the work, but yet have it be so personal and have it be so aligned with my own personal journey. And I've gotten to meet some of the people. I don't know if they're here, but in the retreats. And so it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you share what you do and who you are, because you have your own special journey, but you've also got all these certificates and educations and things you've done. So why don't you give us a little bit about your story of who are you and what do you love doing? What's important to you?
I think, well, what's important to me, I think being the best version of myself is hugely important to me. And it became most important when I had kids 15 years ago. So that was a big sign for me to say, like, these kids are going to mirror me. So I need to figure out how to love myself and how to be the best version of myself. So that's what's important, the most important thing to me. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 23. I think that I've always kind of fought being in a box. So I didn't go to college the first time around. I'm in college now, getting my degree in psychology. But I've been an entrepreneur for the last, I don't know, I'll date myself, 25 years. So yes. So it's been, and I started out in restaurants. We've owned 2 restaurants. We built out a food truck. I started my own digital marketing company 11 years ago. So that's what I've been doing and have built that into a successful business. I had a grocery delivery business in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And so that's been me. It's been about creation. So it's always about recreating myself. And now I'm just kind of really feeling a pull to be able to share my own journey with other people, because I think that I'm living proof that you can come out of something. I mean, 20 years and clinical depression and, you know, suicidal ideation was a huge battle for me to overcome. And so
And thank you for sharing that so openly, because I feel that I just know even 20 years back, it was such a stigma. There's been so much, you know, so much judgment around any kind of mental illness, if we call that, and even owning up to the disease of depression used to be a huge thing, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I've been hearing, you know, my mom for years, don't tell people you stopped taking your medication when you were pregnant. Don't tell people that, you know, I don't want my friends to hear that. And so I've been given those messages that it was something to be ashamed of, which doesn't make you better.
It does not. It actually makes it all worse, because shame, as we know, is right, lowest vibration. So you've built businesses, you've built successful businesses, you found your place in this, I'll call it marketing, business mentoring. You know, you're also a badass CEO and project manager. So you have this very left brain, structured, amazing self. And then you have this other self that I've noticed is incredibly good at compassionate communication in all things psychology, mental health. Really, you've always, I don't know if you know this, you've always been a role model to me in how you communicate with others. Because I've noticed, you know, we've gone through so many changes also in our businesses of huge teams all over the world, and then small teams and all the drama that can unfold. And I think what I look forward to you showing us, and I think in these conversations, I hope that's what we're doing for everyone, is showing how we can communicate with each other and actually co-create something even better by being authentic and being very real and respectful with each other. And you're really amazing at that. So you have so many different hats. And I am excited that now with you co-hosting with me, we can not only gather so many more goddesses around a time that's most likely easier for most of us. I know that some of you have sent me emails and saying, oh, I love the 9 a.m. I'm sorry, but here's a good thing. You can always watch it on YouTube, right? You might even be watching it right now on YouTube. And that's what we want. We want this to be very inclusive, and that whenever you watch, we're going to be talking about topics that really touch our lives. So we're going to be real here, and we all have our agreements. So I hope that you all read our agreements, where we respect each other's privacy, where we stay compassionate towards each other. We honor each other in this circle. Okay. So yay to Dawn being here, and yay to, I'm seeing the shift happening. So what I've noticed is that, especially that since I've been doing this now for over a year in the English speaking circle, right? In the first year, we covered a lot of the foundational work. We talked a lot about beliefs and, traumas and stories that we can be holding and aligning with this concept of financial freedom. We talked about daddy issues and mommy issues, and we've done forgiveness and all that stuff. And now I feel we can move a next step, and we can take the step of really giving very hands-on advice. That's what I know you and I are really good at. And to give also advice that is, yes, always going to have a spiritual component because we're spiritual beings. Yes, it's always going to have that juicy yumminess of sisterhood in there and the emotional part. And we're going to add some business advice, some real hands-on advice of here's how you do this. Say you have a message, say you have a passion, and maybe you've just been feeling small, or you've not known how to do it, how to take the next step. I know that Dawn and I were going to be able to help you there. So this is also to invite you invite you to the concept that from now on, we're also going to be doing hot seats. I love connecting with others and really helping live and saying, okay, here's what I would do if I had this problem. And then Dawn can pitch in and say, here's what I would do. And then you can all pitch in, and we can really give every single sister who has a problem, a challenge, whether it's business or family or private or emotional or health or whatever, we can give you our best advice. Now, neither Dawn or I are medical doctors. Right? We're also not here promising any healing. We can promise you that when you show up and when you're real, we're going to do our very, very best to connect to, I call it the highest intelligence, our intuition, our experience, that neutral part of ourselves, to give you the most loving advice we can. Now, that said, of course, every advice will be tainted with our human part too. We're humans. So any advice we give you, you are free to reject at any time. You can take it in, you can reject it. We're not going to take it personally, are we, Dawn?
Not at all.
So please feel free to ask questions. We see you in the chat, and we love you being interactive. So if there's a burning question that you have, know that at any time you can just ask that question. And if we have the time and space to answer it, we will do so. Yeah? So I'm going to go ahead and ask a couple of questions to you, Dawn, so that we can get to know you better. And these questions not only serve us to get to know you better, but we're going to get to know ourselves better too. So these are questions that I have been gathering because I like having meaningful conversations, and I really despise small talk. It just bores me so bad.
Me too. Oh, I don't even know. She didn't tell me what these questions are, so I have no idea.
No. And I'm going to just intuitively pick. I have a lot of them. And the first question that my eyes are drawn to is, we're going to go deep, right? What is your biggest fear?
Okay. That's easy, because I actually just shared the Facebook post about the Golden Goddess Circle, and I said one of my biggest fear is being seen. And I think the reason for that is the fear of not being accepted.
Nice. So just a quick question into the circle. Who else knows this fear of being seen? Yay! So we've hit a nerve. Excellent. So as you know, we're going to do something about it right away, because it's really easy. Okay. So if you're in a good safe space, you could close your eyes, you could roll them up, and then you could set your intention, and you could say, And if you want to do the goddess way, you could take your tongue, the tip of your tongue, and you could stick it to the roof of your mouth to activate your pineal gland while you're setting the intention. Okay, eyes up, tongue at the place. I can't, otherwise I can't talk, but you do it. Even if I don't know how to release this fear of being seen and then possibly rejected, or all the other things, the bad things that could happen, even if I don't know how to release that fear and transform it into energy that serves my highest good, all I do know is it is so now, and I am fulfilled. I delete all that could stop me. I download everything I need to do so now. Grace, ease, and joy. Thank you. So it is, so it shall be, or something even better. One more breath. And then we open our eyes, and guess what? We're going to start switching. By the way, we're going to do the 5 elements right now, and you can use these 5 elements for any problem. Right now, we're saying being seen. I love and accept myself at my deepest level. And from the very first time I felt this way, it's okay. And I now choose to release this fear and to be consciously aware of it. And breathe. Dawn, you do it in your head, right? Everybody else do it out loud. Underneath your left arm, watch out, this might be mirrored. We're activating our spleen meridian, and our spleen is connected to our sense of self-worth and confidence. So we say, being seen. I love and accept myself with all my doubts, with all my limitations, with anything that could be stopping me, and have me believe that I'm not worthy to be seen and to feel healthy and happy and successful and good at the same time. And now I choose to release the doubt, to release any sabotage, and step into my power of believing in myself, to believe in my greatness and my worthiness, and I've got this, and I believe in myself. Breathe. Excellent. Grab your thumbs, strike them against each other as if you're making fire, and activate your lung meridian. Now we say, being seen. I love and accept myself with all my grief that I hold around this topic, my grief of missed opportunities, my grief around mistakes I made, wrong expectations, all that grief. It's okay. I love and accept myself. And I now choose to release the grief and to step into my power of joy. I love being seen. There's so much joy in being seen. I see myself. And breathe. Now, underneath your collarbones, tap on your chest bone. And then say, being seen. I love and accept myself with all my fears. Breathe into those fears. At my deepest level, and from the very first time I felt scared. And I choose now to release these fears and to step into my power of courage. I've got this. I'm brave. I can do this. I will do this. And I'm doing this now. I am seeing myself, and I am allowing myself to be seen fully, completely, 100%. It's good. It's safe. And breathe. Excellent. Okay. Liver. I like massaging my liver rather than banging it, but you go ahead and do whatever you would like to do now. Tap or massage your liver. And let's tune into that anger. Ooh, yes. And then we say, being seen. I love and accept myself with all my rage and all that anger that I feel for those moments when I wasn't seen, or I was seen and I didn't want to be seen. All those judgments I hold against myself and others, or the jealousy, all that kind of energy, I love and accept myself. And I now choose to release the anger, to release the jealousy, to release all unpleasant feelings, and to step into that lovely, juicy, glorious feeling of peace. For peace is who I am, and peace is what I know. And I'm at peace with myself. I forgive myself. And breathe. Excellent. One more breath. And now we're going to do the final thing. You know it, you know it, you know it. We're going to connect the heart and the crown. Okay. And we say, being seen. I love being seen. It's safe for me to be seen. I love seeing myself. I love seeing clearly. And seeing clearly allows me to download all the wisdom and all the information that serves my highest good. Being seen allows me to share my message, to share the love that I am, to share all the good and to inspire and uplift. But this is my mission in this life, to live my best life, to be my best self, and to have fun and joy while I am doing so. I now choose to be seen at the right time, by the right people. It's all good. It's safe. I am seen. I see. And then take one more breath. Maybe put your hands on your heart or have your palms open, go into a relaxed position. And then just imagine allowing that golden light from source directly to come into the crown of your head, to trickle down into your brain, into the left, into the right brain hemisphere, gently washing out any stickiness, any limitations, any dysfunctional programming, any painful memories. Just let them go. Allow that golden light to fill your brain with all the opportunities and that true potential that you have. You're healthy, you're happy, you're safe, you're free, you're abundant, you're joyful, you're powerful, you're flexible, you're divine. And then allow that golden light to trickle down your neck, to fill up your face, your throat, your shoulders. Allow your chest to be filled with this golden light. Connect the golden light to your heart. Breathe into that heart as you affirm inside of yourself, I am love. I am eternal. I am infinite. That's right. And then notice how the golden light expands around your heart, flows into your spine, connecting all your energy centers right down to your root. Then allow it to flow into your feet. And then send the rest of that golden energy down to the earth, thanking the earth for all that she's giving us. Our homes, this planet, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the foods that we eat, our friends, our family, our enemies, all of them. And then with that sense of gratitude, come back into the here and now and notice how you feel when you think of being seen, being really seen. I mean, just imagine you're a rock star and whatever you're doing, and everybody knows about you, and they know your face, and they know your voice, and they know your message. How does that feel, Dawn?
Better.
Good. So
better. It's hard not to feel good when you're saying you're divine and a rock star. If you could just follow me around and say that all the time, then we would be good. Yeah.
Totally. I promise I could, if you would like, I will send you You Are Divine every single day. For the next 10 days. How about that? That's my promise to you. Okay. I'm going to write it down. Okay. So for 10 days, You Are Divine is going to come to your WhatsApp. And it could be your mantra. It could be all of our mantra. How about, I mean, if it resonates with you, you could take any of these affirmations. But if you heard an affirmation that really, ooh, that had me feeling good, then go ahead and write it down. And write it down in the I am form. So like Dawn was saying, I am divine. And then make that your mantra for the next week. That could be our Jai work. Playing with that mantra. You could sing the mantra. You could say it backwards and forwards and fast and slow and really confuse your brain. Sing it along with songs. Just say, I'm divine, I'm divine, I'm divine. You can sing happy birthday singing divine. And with that, you're really bringing it into your DNA. You're kind of downloading it into your system. Does that make sense?
100%.
So what would you add? So we're going to make it really, Dolby, full around sound, visceral and everything. If you were to think of a move that you could make to anchor it into your body, what would come up for you, Keith?
Well, I know that I just recently I set a reminder on my calendar because I live by my calendar. So that's, if it's on the calendar, I do it. So I have a calendar reminder now every morning at 7 a.m. It's my self-love and gratitude. So it's 3 things, because I've practiced gratitude before where I felt like I externalized things, where it was always like, I'm thankful for my family or my husband or whatever. And so I would put it off onto somebody else. The important shift for this exercise for me was it has to be something about me that I am grateful for. And that was it was hard, but I've been doing that now for, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks. And
that's amazing. 4 weeks every single day. I love that.
Yep.
So we can take that on board too. I mean, as much as you would like to do. And I'm seeing that Lucienne is saying she's going to write it on her mirror. That's also a nice thing. Take some lipstick or something and write it on the mirror and put it in, kiss underneath it. And I love what Dawn is saying. Let's also commit to every day. And how long will it take us? 2-3 minutes? That's all
it takes. It's so short. Yeah. I mean, and that's the idea of it. It had to be something that I could actually do, so instead of, I get up and I get on my phone and I, do my crossword puzzle every morning, or I get on social media. So if I could do that, I knew I could make time to say 3 things I was grateful for about myself.
That's a really good idea.
It helps.
And do you write it in a physical book, or do you write it on your phone?
I write it in my notes. I have an iPhone, so I put it in notes, and it's just a running list. And I think the really cool thing about it is that I have, I have my coaching sessions. And so I had a coaching session, and this was some of my work that I had to do. And so when I was reading it back, because she asked to hear some of my things, it's like I forgot that I had said them, and then reading them and hearing them and being able to see them, it just felt really good. I was like, oh, I said that? That's actually really
pretty smart. That was pretty amazing. I love that. And then we could add on one even more. That's the tip I always give Grace, is record it on your phone, speak it out loud, and put it in a voice memo. And then there are lots of apps where you could put it in a loop, and you could even sleep to it. You could sleep to your positive affirmations. A really powerful way of brain training. So we have a question from Claudia in the chat saying, what about anger, about not being seen? Just the kind of opposite of what we were doing just now. Yes. Can anger come up in these processes? Of course. Could grief come up? Could frustration come up? All kinds of emotions can come up, because I always see it like doing a bit of archaeology. We're just taking away the layers. And it would be, I mean, I like to think that you do one of those tapping sequence and you're done, right? And you're 100% aligned with being seen and feeling comfortable with it and being successful with it. But the truth is that usually it takes practice. It really, like Dawn was saying, she's been doing this for a month. And we know from brain training that it takes around 90 days to create a new habit. So think about, I don't know, all of those of you who were maybe moms, or remember back how long it took you to make brushing teeth a habit. You had to be on it every single day and brush the teeth for them, and then get them to brush them themselves. And if you missed a day, they'd slip, right? You'd have to go back and you'd have to do again. So it usually takes these 90 days. But what I am noticing, and I'd be curious what you say, Dawn, I'm noticing that these shifts are quicker now than they ever were. I'm noticing that I can integrate new habits way quicker than I could even a year ago.
Yeah, it's muscle memory. I mean, the more you practice shifting, right? I mean, I think that the easier it is to accept it and to live it, because you're practicing that.
And you know what? That thought never occurred to me. So here's a typical Joy, right? I thought, oh, it must be the energy of the time. It must be because the portals are open or whatever, that change is happening quicker. And it never occurred to me that I could actually link it back to myself. It's, yeah, you've been practicing this stuff for like 12 years now, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm taking that in. I'm taking that
in. Good. And I don't know if this, when I read Claudia's comment about like the anger of not being seen, I've felt that anger myself. Like I know in my own experience, it's like showing up and then not feeling seen or not feeling heard and feeling that anger. And I don't know if this is what she means by this, but I know in my own experience, I always have to remember, like, how am I showing up to be, why am I showing up to be seen? Is this for me, or is it for these other people? Because I often find that when I'm angry about not being seen or heard, maybe I'm doing it for reasons that aren't necessarily aligned with my highest good.
That's very true. And it's the why that will keep us motivated as well. The why has to lead, doesn't it? We have to know, why am I even getting up in the morning? Why am I even attempting to go for this goal? And when that why leads, then it's more comfortable. That's true. And I can totally also relate to the anger of not being seen. I mean, I'm sure we all can. I know many moments where I was the most educated, the most knowledgeable in a room, but do you think they'd ever listen? No.
Yeah.
I was either too young, or I was female, or whatever. I don't know, whatever reasons there were, but I know that anger. So the bottom line of all this is, if you notice that there's still some emotions there, or just stories are coming up, just repeat the process. Do it until you feel completely neutral. So do it until you can think of all those moments and you think, yeah, it's made me who I am today. Now I know, now I can deal with it. And it wasn't personal. And, all those insights come in, because the moment you get the insight, the emotion's gone, right? Great question. Thank you, Claudia. Good. Yeah, she's saying, okay, thank you. Good. I think that was helpful. Okay, so that was just one question. Isn't it so fun asking questions? So that was your biggest fear. So now let's ask you, what are you most proud of?
I am most proud of showing up and being seen. So
right here, right now. Good brag.
Right now, right here, in my life, period. I mean, I stayed unseen. I stayed small for so many years. And I learned that, to me, was my survival technique. And so it was hugely, I mean, I was ready to go. I was ready to move on. It was done. And then I said, okay, I either have to figure out how to be happy and joyful in my journey on this planet, or I can't live in this limbo. And so the thing I am most proud of is saying that I was going to figure it out, and then doing that. And then it took a long time, and it took a lot of work for me to show up and be seen and talk myself out of all of the fears and self-doubt. But I'm most proud of that. Is the thing I am most proud of.
Yeah, rightly so. And because we've been talking about depression, and you've shared, you've been able to overcome it and deal with it, and you look where you are now. What was the most important or most impactful change that you made? What would be the tip that you could give anyone listening right now of what would be the very first thing that you would do, you would advise someone to do if they say, damn, yeah, I'm depressed, I need to do something?
Yeah, I guess I would say just making the decision, because I'd like to say that there was like some big, it was just this moment where I flipped a switch. And I mean, I guess in the decision, that was the switch. And then it was just a lot of little baby steps every day. And what might seem really small to a lot of people, it was a huge, huge deal for me, just being
Like
able
what?
to.
Like what?
Oh gosh. I used to have so many sessions of self-doubt where I would just, like, the little itty bitty shitty committee. I don't know if you've ever heard that saying in my head, that would talk, and the negative self-talk, and it would just, all these voices that would tell me you're not good enough, you're not loved, you are never going to make it, you're going to fail. And that was the thing I had on loop for so long. And so just every day to be able to say, I'm not going to listen to that, and I'm going to create this new loop in my head. And so, like we were just talking about, it took practice. What used to consume most of my day, went from all my waking hours to maybe 80% and then set, and it just kind of worked down. And so it was just a lot of little baby steps of courage and saying, I am good enough, or maybe I don't believe it, but I'm gonna show up anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna say
I like that. So managing self-talk, I think we can take as a big takeaway, really is crucial. And I 100% sign that. When I noticed, and I've dealt with depression in many phases of my life, and I now know that, to be able to experience great joy in life, we also have to be able to experience great grief. It really is that way. The more we build our emotional capacity to just hold energy, because that's all emotions are, right? It's just massive energy in the body. The more we're able to hold that, the higher we can vibe. And, the more potential we have, the more energy is there. But if we're always playing safe, if we're always kind of trying to find the middle line and not scoot too much here or too much there, we're containing that energy, we're strangling it, aren't we? So yes, I agree with you. It takes courage. It takes courage to say, okay, I have negative self-talk. I'm noticing that the conversations in my head are judgmental, they're critical. It's just nasty stuff going up there, and not to judge myself for it, but to say I'm going to do something about it. Because here's the good news. The brains are malleable. Our brains are so trainable, and we can change that negative conversation and we can make it positive. And when we have better thoughts, we have better feelings. And when we have better feelings, we make better decisions. So it's a win-win in all areas, isn't it? Yeah. So I would suggest this would be my hands-on tool. The moment you notice that you're going negative in your head, at least do the switch. Do the switch and become aware of what was the sentence in your head. What were you saying to yourself? And breathe, and then say the opposite. So if you were saying, oh, I'm always going to fail, you say, oh, why is success so easy for me? Why is it so natural for me to be successful? And, say nice things to yourself and make that a habit. And then what I also found helpful is, like we're talking now, is asking a friend, make me aware of when I'm doing this. If I'm starting to also speak negatively, you're welcome to interrupt me and say, hey, sweetheart, remember? We're going to speak positive. Because when we have others to keep us accountable, it just becomes more powerful, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. The reframe, that's a big one.
Yeah. So what's the best question you've ever been asked?
The best question oh my goodness. I would say, gosh, that's hard. I think maybe, oh gosh, how can things be better?
That's a nice question.
Yes.
Yeah. I think one of my most powerful ones that shifted a lot for me was, what else could this mean? Mm-hmm. So if I'm going into my drama and I'm like, oh, and then someone would said it to me and said, what else could this mean? And I was like, oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Now I use that often to train myself to see the other things. Okay. So one more question I'm feeling. What values do you consider most important in life? We've got honesty, justice, altruism, loyalty, love. I mean, they're all big values.
Compassionate communication is a huge value for me, to be able to communicate compassionately. And I would say perseverance.
Nice. Think about it also, you goddesses. Think what are your top values? The reason why that's also so important is not only for ourselves, but especially in relationships, right? Any third one coming up for you?
Really just love. I mean, if everything is done in love.
Yeah, then a lot is won already. For Marielle, it's gratitude. Yes. For me, it's authenticity, it's freedom. Yeah. And peace. It used to be joy or love, but currently it's peace. I've made friends with peace. We did a goddess circle now because I was saying I used to find peace really boring. I was like, peace, right? But peace is a really, really high vibration. And I'm noticing that the more I'm embracing the concept of peace and seeking peace everywhere, it has me feeling really good. So thank you for answering all these questions. So I'm going to give the mic to you goddesses in the circle. If you have any question to Dawn or to me, then go ahead and ask it now. Lucienne is saying her top value that's coming up for her right now is accountability. Yeah, that's a big one, right, Dawn?
Yeah, yes, it is. To yourself, your word. Absolutely. I feel
How
that
do
one.
you deal with accountability with your kids? So we have children, some of our children are of similar age, right? So you've got a 13-year-old, and how old is
15. Kyle will be 15 next week.
So how have you been teaching them accountability? I'm sure that's an interesting question for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very big on, doing what you say you're going to do. So following through and being accountable for your actions, which my 13-year-old boy we are struggling big time with that right now. I think it's that age. So just kind of being responsible, but that's huge for me. If you owning your actions, owning your words, and we talk a lot about that. And it's hard too, right? Because I don't know that punishing somebody for not being accountable is the way. I think natural consequences are probably the most
Absolutely, I'm 100% with you there. I've been learning that in this positive parenting school that I'm visiting, that this old model of teaching through punishment keeps the student in a non-learning position. The only way to do it is to, keep them accountable by having consequences and understanding that consequences have to be set up front. They have to be announced, right? They have to be fair. They have to be related, and all these different things you have to pay attention to actually make them work. And I'd agree with you. That's the best way to go. For me, it's usually with Grace, also a 13-year-old, it's usually digital detox, right? We make agreements. So these are the jobs that you have to do. You study this, you do that. And if you don't manage to do that, or you choose not to do those tasks, then you lose your phone for a certain amount of time so that you can stay accountable. You're not so distracted. And I feel great compassion for young ones growing up with those digital distractions. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I was so lucky not to grow up with it. I had my first cellular phone and it was a big box thing. And it was very, very cool that you had this thing, and you could only have it in the car, but it was super cool. And I was 20 something, right? So I got to have a whole childhood and growing up without this thing constantly pinging and dinging and doing its thing.
That's designed to keep you picking it up and addicted.
It is. We've had that conversation, haven't we? One of the most amazing psychic readings that I dived into were by this Erlenmeyer, this Bavarian farmer that was in the 40s, 50s, or even earlier maybe. And anyway, he was most successful and became very known in the time after the Second World War. And he was really good at predicting if the soldiers would come home and if they would come home injured or not. And he was so good that they had, the pictures of his farmhouse in the middle of Bavaria, actually very close to Oi in the Allgäu, where I met Roy. And you see these pictures of hundreds of people standing in line to get their reading. And he was actually acquitted to court, right? He was sued at court for blasphemy because this was not acceptable. And the judge at that time asked him, okay, so if you're so good at this, why don't you tell me where my wife is? And then he says, okay, she's in the local cafe. She's wearing a red pullover and she's sitting with another man. And then the judge said, okay, little boy, I know, judge boy or whatever they call them, get on your bike and go check. And it was right. So he was acquitted. And he gave this prediction of the shift, this time that would come on this planet where consciousness and all these interesting things would happen. And the one prediction that so stuck with me was, he said, there will be a time when people have these little black boxes in their hands. And when they do this, they know everything. And when he said that, it rang so true to me. So now talking about distraction and accountability, yeah, I'm really wondering, you know, how much good they're doing and how much they're now also inviting us to be able to detach from them again. I think that we should actually make that our next session. Why don't we do that?
Yeah. Yeah, in my cognitive psychology class, we learned about a study that the outcome was that people who did not have their cell phones in the same room with them, so it decreases your cognitive load because you're constantly, even if it's just in the same vicinity as you. So if it's on the desk, it decreased your cognitive load the most. If it was in your bag, it was a little bit less. And the least decrease was when it was in another room. And it's just interesting because I think that, yeah, our kids are digital natives. They've never known anything but the digital world. So it's hard. I fight that a lot. I'm trying not to fight it. I'm trying to remember the good things about it. And
well, and we have to, and I know from these studies of people who live longest and are happiest, one of the things that they are good at is going with technology. So I think we have to learn how to deal with technology in the best way. So I'm putting that out there for our next circle, that we really look at that topic and look at our attachments and habits and possible addictions that we have to the little boxes, and then transform that. What do you think of that?
I like that.
Right, me too. I'll write it down so we remember. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Now you can do retreats that are focused on digital detox. It's a thing. Just saying, no, I'm not going to go online for like an hour a day. 10 days? How long can I do? I think it would be really healthy. Okay, how to do a digital detox and cut your addictions and habits and attachments and transform them into good energy. That's going to be our next topic next week. Yeah, Lucienne loves that subject. Great. Yeah, I'm going to do some research. I'm sure you'll do some looking into it, and we'll co-create something magical next week. Same time, same station, and we'll talk about all these digital things and how they can help us and what we can do to really make the most out of them so that it serves us.
Awesome. I have lots of stuff to share. I just did my semester project on the effects of digital media on adolescence. And so I don't, it was for adolescents, but I think it works for everybody. I just think adolescents are particularly vulnerable to it because their frontal lobes aren't developed. So they have a particularly hard time.
Yeah. And it reminds me that in university, when I was studying, communication sciences, I wrote a work thingy on the effects of TV on young children. And then in my dissertation for psychology, I looked at the effects of social media on the brain. So I think together we're going to have a blast going into that topic and really dissecting it and finding helpful things.
Yeah, it is super fascinating. I mean, we learned just even the fact that it has like reordered our sensory neurons because of the way that we touch screens, and it's just reordered those neurons in our face. It's just interesting. It's fascinating.
Cool. I feel the excitement. It's going to be super fun. So back to you, ladies. Is there any question or any insight, anything you've noticed that you'd like to share as we come to the end of our circle? Is there anything that we can still do for you? Then ask the question now. If not, we're going to very smoothly, quickly, and effortlessly connect to our highest selves just by doing 2 rounds of breath work to close the circle. And I love using breath work to amplify our state. I feel we're in a good state. And now we can share that beautiful energy with others. So maybe there's someone that needs your help right now. Maybe you're thinking of someone who's suffering. Maybe you need help, whatever it is, a project, something you're working on. Define who or what you are going to offer this energy to, your life force, your breath. And then if you want to blow your nose or, I don't know, get into a comfortable position, do a run pee, then now would be a good time. I'm going to take a cough. Thank you. I was speaking for 8 hours today. I was doing all the recordings for the sleep learning. So this is going to be fun, breathing out any stickiness and bringing in that feeling of flow, feeling super comfortable being seen. It's going to be amplified every time we take a conscious breath. We're going to feel better and better about being seen. Okay. So the way that we do breath work, Dawn, I'll explain it to you, and I'll take you off the spotlight for now, if you don't mind, because then you can just breathe in your own peace and quiet. Is we get into a comfortable position. You can do this lying down or sitting up. If you want your spine and your neck to be straight, just to allow the energy to move through all the energy centers freely. If you like, you could put your hands into this mudra of bringing your thumbs and your index fingers together, and then place them palm up on your lap next to you, or have them somewhere else. We're going to take 30 breaths in and out through our nose. If you'd like to breathe through your mouth, that's fine too. We're going to focus on the in-breath, and we're going to imagine bringing in that golden light of the source, the golden light that contains all the resources, information, love, energy, everything we need that serves our highest good. And with every exhale, we're simply going to release. We're going to release all that energy so that it can be transformed into more good energy. And while we're doing that, we're going to devote this energy to a cause, person, ourselves, anything that really resonates with you right now. Okay, so think of that cause, person, or thing. And then we're going to start breathing in and out 30 times. After the 30th breath around, you'll all have your different rhythms. You're going to exhale all the energy out and keep it out for as long as feels comfortable. While you keep the energy out, I suggest we play with the new mantra of I am divine. Okay, so you could repeat that inside of yourself while you have the energy, the air held out. So you're not breathing. It's the breath retention phase. And then when you can no longer hold it out, it feels uncomfortable, you take a nice deep breath in and you hold the energy in, you hold the air in for around 20 seconds. Okay, we're going to do 2 rounds like that, devoting the energy and all that love to that personal thing or whatever you are devoting it to. Are you ready? Okay, 30 breaths in and out through your nose. Breathe all the air out, hold it out. Repeat inside, I am divine. I am divine. I am divine. That's right. Now take a deep breath in. Hold. And exhale. Well done. You've done round 1. Let's do another round. Let's ramp up the energy, fill ourselves with golden light, and bless everything and everyone around us and inside of us. Let's start breathing. Exhale all the energy out. You are divine. Yes, I am divine. You are divine. I am divine. Now take a deep breath in and hold. You're divine. Yes, you are divine. It's safe for you to be seen now. And exhale. And then take a comfortable breath, noticing the peace inside of you, the expansion, the space, the gratitude, the acceptance. Just notice what you notice. Feeling gratitude for yourself, for having invested in yourself, having showed up, participated fully, stayed aware, been present. Feel that gratitude for yourself. And then think of something that you're proud of. You got up this morning, you're here, you're taking that breath. You did something good today, I am certain. Acknowledge that to yourself. And then acknowledge one of your heart's desires. Say it out loud or inside of your head, say, I desire this. I desire that. I desire it. And then bless those desires. As I wish upon you, so be it. So shall it be, or something even better. Yes, so it is. Amen. That's yours, all yours. Take it in. You're worthy of it. You're ready for it, and you're doing it now. And I'd love to wish you all, and especially Dawn, thank you so much for being here and for gathering with me and co-hosting this circle. Thank you, every one of you. Brigitte, Annette, Eileen, I can't say all your names. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's remember to do our joy work. Let's catch ourselves when we go negative inside of our heads. We're going to do the switch and we're going to reframe. We're going to play with the mantra, I am divine. We're going to practice our conscious breath as often as possible. And we're going to do the 5 elements, that whole tapping sequence, whenever we feel we want to realign with what truly matters to us. So may all the values that you uphold high in life, may they unfold and manifest for you. May you see and feel and hear those values all around you. And I greatly look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you so much. Mwah. Dawn, do you want to shout bye-bye, cheerio?
Yes, thank you everyone for welcoming me into the circle. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you all next week.
Yes, yes,
Bye
yes.
bye, sweethearts.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.